Yeah, we can do that. Yes. Alrighty, hello everyone. Welcome to Executive Board Meeting 4605. Today is September 1st, 2026. The time is currently noon. For members of the public, you can join the hybrid meeting via live stream at youtube.com/@GPSA/UNLV/live streams. Or you can join in person here in LLB 2141, the Graduate Commons in Lead Library on the second floor. Oh, perfect. Alrighty, so then moving forward, can we move into a quick period of roll call? Hey, Nia, could you maybe mute your camera or your audio? Thank you.
Okay, roll call, President Trey,
Present.
Vice President Nehemiah. Treasurer Cobb. Yeah, present. And we have roll call through everybody.
No, only Devin is
Okay.
here.
So we have Division of Legislative Affairs Directors and
Present.
Thank you.
Perfect. And I don't believe any of our other directors or deputy directors are joining today. And then are any of our and then Nia, we can't leave out Nia. Is Nia present?
Mia is present.
Perfect, thank you. And then I don't see um our other faculty advisors. Is Dr. Robinson or Dr. Colombo present? Okay, Dr. Robinson might be joining a little bit later. And is our graduate college liaison, Dante Washington, present? I don't believe so. So we're going to go ahead and move on in this agenda. Oh, wait. Okay, everyone, we're going to take a 2-minute pause because our bill
Get something? Because I didn't.
our Bill Nye tickets just loaded. So
Ah,
give us 2 seconds, friends.
also just quick point of clarification for executive board meetings. I don't believe Dante Washington is. Are we expecting Dante Washington to attend the executive board meetings or just council meetings?
Um, just council, but I started including her are them on the agenda just in case
Oh,
they
okay.
wanted to join.
Got it. Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Okay. I've submitted the form for my tickets, so I'm going to kick us back off in this agenda. Rachel, thank you for doing attendance. We are now going to move into public comment. Let's read the whole description. Public comment will be, actually, sorry. For members of the public, if you would like to make a comment and you are calling in, you can call at number +125 3215 8782, passcode 9365670101#. Um, let's go down to here. Public comment will be taken during this agenda item. No action may be taken on a matter raised under this item until the matter is included on an agenda as an item on which action may be taken. Comments will be limited to 3 minutes per person. Persons making comments will be asked to begin by stating their name for the record and to spell their last name. The board chair may elect to allow additional public comment on a specific agenda item when the agenda is being considered. In accordance with Attorney General Opinion Number 00-047, as restated in the Attorney General's open meeting law manual, the chair may prohibit comment if the content of the comment is a topic that is not relevant to or within the body of or authority of the body, or if the content is willfully disruptive of the meeting by being irrelevant, repetitious, slanderous, offensive, inflammatory, irrational, or amounting to personal attacks or interfering with the rights of other speakers. Do we have anyone that would like to make a public comment? Not seeing any in person or online. Rachel, did we have anyone email in any
Yeah.
public comments? Perfect. There are no emailed in public comments. So we are going to go ahead and close public comment and move into our consent agenda. Rachel, are the minutes for 4603 and 4604 in the drive?
Oh, so I was planning on having everything ready for September 9th, and I sent you the one.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
That is okay. We are going to postpone the approval of minutes until our next exec board meeting. So we have no consent agenda. We're going to move into a very brief period of reports and recommendations. Jumping in with executive board. So for my president's report, there are lots of good things going on. I'm leaving to Board of Regents quarterly meeting tomorrow, and I'll be there Thursday and Friday. So if you guys need anything, reach out, let me know. There was also a special board meeting last week where they talked about the idea committee, and the Board of Regents had a motion to remove the idea committee. That item was ultimately postponed until there was more information on where the responsibilities of that committee would be going, who would be taking over that information. And then there was other motions to actually have that committee bring Title IX into it and have the committee have a larger scope at the board level. That's where the conversations kind of paused at in that meeting, and we're hoping to see them readdress that in the next couple of meetings, maybe at the quarterly meeting in December. Outside of that, if you haven't known, Board of Regents has a new chair and vice chair. So Stephanie Goodman is our Regent Goodman is the new chair. Regent Del Carla is the new vice chair. Their committee assignments and everything are all working and in the process, and I'll learn more in the next quarterly meeting tomorrow or Thursday. Outside of that, we are later today, we'll be talking about a town hall. I have some information there for all of us, and we will kind of go from there. But I think that's all I have for you all. I have a meeting with a couple of deans later today to hopefully get more sponsorship funding. Fingers crossed we do. And yeah, that is all I have for my report. VP.
Okay, thank you. For my report as my represents, basically I just want to thank the president for the wonderful work he's doing. Raising currently we have about I think roughly $300,000 for sponsorship committee. I just want to say thank you so much for that, and also thank you to the board member, and also thank you for GPSA manager. For the division of sponsored funding, we met that was last week Friday. So basically now our meetings falls last Friday throughout this last Friday of every month throughout this fall 2026 semester. So we met last week last Friday for the 604 cycle. We had about 38 applications, and one was actually cancelled. So we had 37 eligible applications, and then we were able to fund 25 applications. And then 8 applications were eligible, but the budget we had, we couldn't actually fund them. So basically, there's actually an improvement based on what we had during the previous cycle. That's for the 603. We're able to fund, that was, I think, 59% of the total application. But in this last committee meeting we had, we're able to fund 72% of the total application. I think that's an increase in the students were able to grant the sponsorship awards to. So basically that's all I have to say. And then for our workshop that should hold in October 2nd. At the moment, we are not able to get the location because we wanted it to be at the GW building at the graduate college. But I think that particular room has been reserved by the Grand Academy. So we're still looking for other alternatives to be able to have the workshop October 2nd. So hopefully before this week runs out, I'll get updates on that.
Definitely. If you need help finding space, let me know. I can do some digging as well.
All right, thank you. So we need help.
Okay.
Yeah, we need help.
Perfect. Let's connect later today, and I will.
Okay. All right.
I will help you get some spaces booked. Any questions for our vice president, or did anyone have any questions for me? I know I kind of skipped that. Okay. Cool. Then we're going to move on to our treasurer report.
Okay. So we are planning to schedule Base and Means meeting on September 8th, and we are kind of working on agenda, and then we'll send out an invite soon. So basically we'll be discussing operating policy, changing who will be the chair of the Base and Means committee, and there are certain changes in budget for fiscal year 27 in Base and Means committee. And I'm kind of working on fiscal year 26 complete financial records, like comparing budget with the actuals month on month and variance, analyzing those aspects. So it's taking some time, but it will be ready for next council meeting. So for next council meeting, I'm kind of working on for entire FY 26 records, like financials position, along with the August 2026 financial position. So that's all from me.
Thank you.
Any questions for me?
And then point of clarification before I get to you. Nia, do you know where that giant mic we used during the last meeting was, so I don't have to keep sliding my computer all around? Can I steal it from you?
Yes, It should be in the storage unit area. Should be like a big wagon, or might be on the ground, but should be like in a
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
container with mics in it.
Perfect. I am going to grab that. We're going to move to Rachel's report, and then after that, we'll jump to Devin if I'm not back yet. But Rachel, take it away.
Do you have a separate? Yeah, hold on.
Hmm?
Because I want you to be here, so hurry up. Okay. We're gonna pause momentarily for a mic, people. Sorry. So I thought that I didn't see a spot for my council recommendations, but that is there. So my only announcement is that council seats are filling up. People are responding to me. I have 31 filled seats currently and 21 vacancies. So that's where we're at as of moments ago, my most recent email. And so yeah, most of those have filled in their council registration forms, so we're looking good.
Okay, I love it. And then we will. Oh, Nia has her hand up.
Oh, just a quick question for Rachel. Is that on the sheet that we share that you shared?
Yes, is the newest name or
The one that you hid the comments on?
yeah.
Okay, perfect. I just wanted to make sure that's the one that.
If you scroll down, I put a formula in to show the count of the seats, so it's down below the names. It'll say filled seats and
Perfect.
vacancies at the bottom.
Perfect. Awesome. Just wanted to make sure we're looking at the same document, working on the
Correct.
same
Yes,
thing.
that is the most updated.
Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, perfect. And then we will move into a round of President's Cabinet reports. Director of Legislative Affairs, do you have anything for us?
Hello, Devin Lopez for the record. Just two quick things that are more on the Constitution and bylaws side. So the first one is I just got all of the meeting placeholders through Google Calendar set up and sent out to the committee members. So I guess I just have one quick request for Rachel. If you have or when you have the time, if you could just upload or create the Zoom meeting through the GPSA account so that I can send out that Zoom link to the committee members, that would be great. I did include you on the placeholders
Yes, I saw that.
Awesome. Then yeah, if you could just like put those together and then I'll delete the placeholders once I get those links.
Okay.
But other than that, the only other item I had was just the actual content of the Constitution and Bylaws Committee for next Tuesday, September 8th. We'll be talking about the committee bylaws adjustments that were adopted back in May, if we want to keep those or submit any other recommendations. We'll also be talking at President Curtis Brown's request, the remuneration for executive board officers in Article 6. And then we will also be discussing recommending language to actually codify the president's cabinet, because currently we just don't have any language about that in the bylaws. But those are the three topics for next week. And then if there's any other pressing issues, please feel free to let me know and I can get that put on to the agenda for after that meeting. But that's it.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Devin. Does anyone have any questions for Devin? Okay. Then moving along, I don't think anyone else from our cabinet is here. Does our GPSA manager and advisor Nia have any report for us?
I do have reports, and I apologize for having to run around a little bit this morning. I will be able to be with you guys hopefully by the end of the meeting. But we have a few different updates, so I'm glad that Rachel's sending out the council legislative reports, but also, or excuse me, the council representative seats, and we're getting those filled because the upcoming GPSA council meeting is becoming very important. It's going to be a very important space where we talk about the question of time to degree versus program length and the One Big Beautiful Bill Act. That's going to be a heavy piece of the council meeting. So I hope that we're all prepared for that and know what kind of questions we might want to ask and help prime the council. I also just want to run through and take this opportunity of the meeting to make sure that folks know what to expect for that meeting since it is getting to be pretty heavy. We do have that agenda item tracking sheet where we're talking about all the different pieces that are going into that meeting. But like for right now, for example, we have the provost coming to that meeting. We also have the head of enrollment management, Barb Roberts, and the head of I think it's called the Office of International Student Services, I believe, the OISS, and Lindsay Gruber. They're going to be coming to that meeting. So we're looking at, we really want to understand the institution's response to the One Big Beautiful Bill Act and the plans moving forward, and what is the plan moving forward, and how does that ultimately impact graduate students. That includes a 4-year degree cutoff for international students. That includes doctorate, undergrad, master's, doesn't matter, it's a 4-year cutoff. So I just want to make sure we're prepared for that council meeting next week. And then also I've been working with Trey, and I'm sure he's wondering where that fee survey is. I'm having a hard time getting the fee survey to go out, and I don't know why, but I'm trying to work with IT and see why my thing keeps getting kicked back. Could be something wrong with my template. And I might have you send it from your GPSA president email this afternoon, since I'm
Okay.
running into struggles. But nonetheless, and then some other points that I also want to address here is that the Graduate Student Commons is hiring additional people. So there are some spaces, there are some like job calls around the space on the front desk. So if anybody does know anybody who is interested in working in that space, please have them fill out an online application.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions for Nia?
Yes, Rachel, for the record, Nia, you said that we want to notify the council. Are you wanting me to send out an email kind of outlining, and we should talk about what you want to put in that email to the council?
So it needs Christina for the record. I think that I'm not really sure how you guys would like to handle it. I know it's a new council and we're still getting seats filled at this point. So how do you all want to handle bringing on the council? I mean, in the past, the September meeting has been kind of, it's the first big meeting. It's the first meeting for probably at least half of them. So this is open meeting law. This is what Robert's rules is. This is what a quorum is. I'm sure this is not everyday lingo for most grad students or anybody that doesn't do anything in the public sector. So it's a huge meeting. But then would a primer be, maybe an informational primer would be helpful? Make some kind of an executive summary of what we're looking at, how it would obviously have to be within our capacity to write that email. I don't know exactly what would go into it. But what do you guys, I guess this is a question for the executive board. It's not exactly an agenda item, but that is something that, unless Trey and Rachel want to work off the side of what that might look like, I'm happy to support anything, but really it's up to you guys how to handle the onboarding of the new council.
Yeah, I'm wondering if, I mean, I can defer to you, but if we just send the agenda as soon as we have, like, I mean, we're pretty locked in, right? And send it and just say, please read through this very carefully. This is going to be a very important meeting. Make sure you kind of read through this and prepare yourself.
Yeah, I think that, and then maybe in that email, if we can just add like the quickest blurb of, we do follow open meeting law and Robert's rules. If you're not,
I have all that. Yeah. Yeah, I already have that, which we'll talk about today.
Cool.
Outside of that, though, like for the preparation of the meeting, of the heaviness of it and the people that are coming, do we want to add any messaging on that?
Yes, let me get through Board of Regents this weekend.
Okay.
And I'll be back Tuesday.
Okay.
Right? Is that too late? I don't know what the calendar looks like.
Oh,
That's too late, right?
Oh, yeah, that's the day before.
Yeah.
I have time
Actually,
tonight, and I will work on some. Wording tonight, and I will work on some wording at 8 p.m. tonight and send it your way.
Okay, I mean, I can also write something up and send it to you.
Let's do that.
Let's do that.
And then
Okay.
tag team it on the side.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you. Nia.
I also might have a suggestion that you have Devin Lopez here, and he's been to a number of Board of Regents meetings, and he was writing those notes from the president.
Mm.
Email addresses or emails to the student body. I think that was an excellent practice. And maybe it's just something that we could do again if Dre's interested in it. And I'm speaking for Devin. I'm totally putting this completely into in Devin's hands, but maybe you could help with that.
Devin Lopez for the record. No, yeah, I totally I'd be more than willing to help draft any like student body messages or anything. Sort of the way I went about it was just like plainly stating what is sort of available on the public record, but with less of the like formality of the meeting itself. But yeah, if that's something that you want to do, Trey, I'm more than willing to help you with that.
Yes, no, 100% I do. And I've actually had some council members reach out already and say, where's these updates? Like, we like to take those and then send them back to our student groups. And I was like, my calendar has been very toxic and crazy and busy, so I haven't done it yet. But no, Devin, if you could help me with at least the first one, I would very much like to do that. So yes, thank you all. Other questions, comments, concerns? Oh, sorry, Nia.
I have one more question for Trey and Devin. Over the next Thursday and Friday, Devin, are you like on call in case Trey wants to call and say, hey, this stuff just happened? Can you
That meeting
maybe
is
put some points in an email?
that's this week, right? This Thursday and Friday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am available all day Thursday, but Friday morning I'm teaching and have office hours. So like Thursday all day and then Friday afternoon.
We can work
Good
with
to
that.
know. Thank you, Devin. Thank you, Trey.
Mhm.
Yes. Okay. Any other questions for our GPSA manager and advisor? Okay, then we're gonna go ahead and move on. Do you have a sponsorship committee report? Okay, perfect. We're gonna keep diving through. Sorry, guys, I have a very hard cutoff for our time limits today, so we're gonna move on into our. Can I have a motion to open item 7, new business? Perfect. Moved by our VP. Can I have a second? And seconded by our treasurer. We're going to go out of order just in respect to our guest, and we're going to open up item 7B, which is our accessibility PDFs and website announcements. I'm going to hand you over the microphone.
Yes, hello, hello. Alrighty, and then what I'm going to do, there's a separate account on this Zoom that's called Conference Rooms. So for those of you, you may have to switch your view, but it should just kind of automatically show the screen. And then you can see me on Trey's camera. Hi. Thank you for having me. For those of you who haven't met, my name is Jara Strong. I am our web accessibility specialist. I work on the web and digital strategy team, which is the team that oversees your website. Fun fact, that is not IT. We're in the marketing department. Common misconception. So if somebody tells you you can't put something on your website, it wasn't IT, it was us. But you can complain to the chair of IT if you want. I love it when you complain to somebody that's not my boss. So we're going to talk today about accessibility. So I'm sure you all have and will continue to discuss open meeting law, right? And we kind of have multiple regulations going on at one time. There's a compliance piece to open meeting law about making things publicly available. And of course, when we make things publicly available, we want them to be available to the entire public, regardless of disability status. And that's kind of what accessibility is all about, giving people the option and ability to customize the experience that they're getting, and recognition that not everybody reads things in the same way. So I have a little exercise that I bring with me when we talk about accessibility so that you can see the types of things that we talk about. I was very recently talking to a friend of mine who said that he had one of these AI chat agents make him a website. And then he asked what I did for a living. And I told him I do accessibility. And he said, like for a website, for a blind person to read your website, but it's a website. So he didn't really understand. And it kind of worries me when people can just make websites and not really understand what goes into them and how they're interacted with by different types of people, right? So I've got a little example for you to help you understand kind of what we're going to talk about. So for those of you who are online or in the room, you can play along. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put some information on the screen. This is a visual only exercise. So some of you at the back of the room are going to learn a little bit different lesson about accessibility here, but if you can and you want to play along, please do. I'm going to put some information on the screen, and then I'm just going to shout out some questions, and you all are going to answer them just as quickly as you can. So you can come off mute if you're online or just in the room, shout them out. I've got a couple of, I'm going to call these university quote unquote websites here, and we're going to take a look. This is for the Accessibility Academy. Now, who can tell me how many options for a degree program that I would have at this university? I'm sorry, is this funny to you? How many options for a degree program do I have? Anybody? That sounded like a question. You're not sure? Okay. Okay. And so I'm an out-of-state student. How much would I pay for a semester? 2,500. Again, some people sounded a little unsure. Okay, so I've got another one here. How many options do I have for a degree program at this university? And how much would an out-of-state student pay for the semester? Oh, I'm sorry. I think that was easier for some of you. No? So let's talk about why. We skip things all the time. When you look at a website for the first time, you don't read every single word on the page. And if you've been to that website before, you best believe you're not reading every single word on that page. You know that you're looking for something. You have a question you want to answer. So visually, we skip around a lot. And the structure of this information helps me do that. There's these words here that say our diversity policy, and it's very nice that they have one, but I have a question that I'm trying to answer, so I skipped over it, right? Now, what we can do on our computers is we can take text and we can put it on a line by itself, and we can make it bigger and make it bolder. And visually, that looks like a heading. But if we don't tell the computer that that's a heading, then my person who maybe translates this into a different format, maybe they listen to this out loud, maybe they transcribe it into Braille, something like that, they don't know that there's a heading here because they can't see the visual clues, right? So under the hood, when we create these documents, there is a structure or a skeleton of this document digitally. If I go into Google Docs, I can actually open up this little outline, and it will show me my headings. I have tools that allow me to create a table, to create a list, and those things are also kind of a form of skipping. They tell me where things start and end. They tell me if I'm an out-of-state student, I can ignore a whole row, and if I'm looking for the semester, I can ignore a whole column, right? And these kind of structural clues help me. But what we sometimes see is we see people who are very fond of their layout tools, and they're very fond of, I'm going to call them hacks, little ways of making things look right, but not under the hood being right, if that makes sense. So this is a very storytelling type of exercise. It's about your intent and about what you're trying to communicate. So unfortunately, or fortunately for me, I guess, AI is not coming for my job anytime soon, because these computers don't understand us. Accessibility almost always requires a human being at the end of the day to check stuff out, make sure that they're using the tools in the appropriate way. It requires a little bit of training not to delete the accessibility stuff that's already in a template or already in a document. So we have some tools available at UNLV. Your first and most important tool is me, yours truly, and to some extent Nia, who's been around this cycle once or twice at this point. Because when we create these documents and they get posted to the website, if you are submitting something through my team, we check those, every single document, to make sure those things are accessible. But some of you in this room are going to get access to post things to the website directly, which means I don't get to sign off on it, which means we're trusting you all to use the tools that you have available to make sure that those things are accessible prior to posting them. Our agendas, our minutes, anything that we're kind of attaching to the website. We're also going to make sure that we follow the training and guidelines for the text of the announcements themselves. We're not going to just like throw some screenshot flyer in there one day and kind of not be prepared to deal with the accessibility concerns that come with that, right? So I want to talk a little bit, like I said, the first tool that you have is your people who are here to support you. I wanted to make sure that you get to see me, talk to me, so you know who you're emailing. And we have a couple of accessibility checkers. Like I said, they're not perfect. They're not going to catch everything, but they are good tools and they will tell you if they know for sure that something's wrong, which is helpful. So we've got one in Google Docs. Do you all use Google Docs for your, yeah. So we've got one in Google Docs. Let me see if I can, how do I, yes. In your extensions, if you are signed into your UNLV email address, the one that is your first name dot last name, you should in extensions have an item called Grackle Docs here. That is an accessibility checker for Google Docs. When you run Google Docs or Grackle Docs, you will have a little widget that opens up here, and it's going to check through and see these things that are kind of required for accessibility. Have you thought about them? So it's going to warn you if you don't have a title on your document. It's going to warn you if you have images that are not described. It's going to warn you if you're not using any headings, right? These are things that it'll pop up and talk to you about. Assuming that you have all check marks or, oh, look, this table is untagged, terrible. If you, these little things are like warnings, these like best practices, right? Passed, but with a warning, those are fine. I'm really just looking for these big red X's. And then when you kind of satisfy that you have 21 of 21 checks passed, my request is that you use this export to PDF button here, not going up to file and downloading as PDF. And that is because Google Docs wrote their own PDF creator some time back, and it just isn't prepared to create a fully accessible PDF in the way that this one is. So this is kind of our gap stopping tool that you should have here by default. It is free. So if you are normally using Google Docs on a different account, you can still add this to your extensions. But it should be any unlv.edu email address should just have this in the extensions automatically. And all you have to do is authorize it to access your account. So then the other tool that we have for some of you, I use a tool called Site Improve that scans our website and looks for issues on our website. Now, this is how, if you don't do this process and you do publish a document with an accessibility issue, that's how I'm going to know. Because Site Improve is mad at you. And Site Improve is going to rat on you to me. And you get a nasty little email from me. Why are you posting agendas that haven't been checked, right? Site Improve has its own accessibility checker. And for a long time, what we were doing was we were having people check their PDFs on their computer with some other tool, and then we upload it to Site Improve, but then Site Improve was annoyed about something else that their accessibility checker didn't think about, right? Now we have the ability to get you Site Improve access so that, number one, you can ask Site Improve directly. They have an accessibility checker in there now that you can just give it your PDF and it'll tell you if it's good or not. And then it will also tell you if you have posted anything in the past that has issues. So that's a good tool. I think Nia has access and you have access. So if you find that you need or want to ask Site Improve gods directly what they think, we can get you that account as well. And again, this is about making sure that we use the templates that we have, because again, we've been doing this a minute and we knew what we needed to fix. And then being mindful when you use these things that there may be decisions that were made, like headings and like the way that images are used or not used and the way that tables are used or not used, that were made for accessibility reasons. So if you go in and change those things, be mindful of that, ask some questions, and we are here to support you if you have anything. So with that, I guess, does anybody have any questions for me or Nia? Do you think there's anything that I missed?
I guess Traeger's run for the record. The one I guess comment I would say is for your site group website, can we also have our director of operations look at that? Also, and going to task him with his double checking, being a third set of eyes to make sure everything looks good on our websites and everything as he's going through.
Send me an email with that person's name and email address, and I'll set up the account. Tell me that it's for GPSA, and I'll just give them access to the GPSA site. The way that I look at Site Improve is that anybody who looks at our public website can run an accessibility checker and see if we have issues, right? So I have no problems giving Site Improve access to anybody and everybody because it's public information. All it does is kind of line it up for you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So when I want to have access to the website,
What's that?
access to websites to upload things.
That is a good question. I believe that there are some of you who are going to go through a little bit of training around getting announcements access. I'm not sure off the top of my head where we are getting those announcements accounts requested, but Nia is raising her hand, so I think we may get some answers.
So I've reached out to, and I believe it's still Grant.
Grant,
Caruso. Okay, perfect. So I've reached out to Grant to arrange a training for the group. But I actually haven't heard back yet, but I'm hoping that possibly maybe our next executive board meeting, maybe he can make that meeting and that could be the training session for everyone. But at this moment, I know that we have a template and Rachel's been doing so much due diligence in trying to make our templates spot on. And I recognize that working with the rest of us has not always been the easiest in keeping those templates spot on, myself included. So I guess our SOP, our procedures for getting everything up on the website. Right now, there's only 3 of us in the room that still have that website access. Actually, one of them's not even in the room. It's myself and Devin, because Devin was the previous GPSA president. And the other one's our GA. So this gang doesn't even have access to do everything that they need to do yet.
Yeah.
To get announcement website posting access. But the biggest part is because the grant training. So I guess what are the other big flags? Or really it's just this Grackle procedure. So that is the great procedure that we're following. That's everyone has that extension in Grackle. They know how to use it, export it to PDF.
Export to PDF through Grackle, make sure you're not exporting
Mhm.
the PDF the old way. And
Okay.
then again, if you are one of those folks who is posting directly,
No, we're not.
and you want Site Improve access just to triple check, can. And the other thing is, again, if we see stuff pop up on Site Improve after the fact, then we can go back and either fix or take those things down. And sometimes after a meeting, it's okay to take the agenda down. But that's an internal procedure question, not really an accessibility question.
Yeah. True. So I'm asking for things that are funky situations. Like let's say, for example, we get some supplemental material that might need to go into an agenda. And it's, I don't know, a link to a video. And then there's also somebody who sends over a PDF. And then somebody sends over a graphic. And we have all these things that would normally have to get linked to an agenda, supplemental material.
Yeah. I mean,
And it's challenging to work with. What should the group do?
Those things are not outside the scope of compliance. If we share or unleash things publicly, they should be made accessible. That said, if those links are in the PDF, then Site Improve is not evaluating the accessibility of each and everything that is linked inside the PDF, right?
Perfect. Okay. Thank you. Did anybody else have questions around any of the stuff that they're working with? Weird situations, or like if we have a really long governing document, like for example, I don't know, a constitution that might have to get made. Would you be something that we could lean on for help?
Make sure that it has headings and know that if you're creating a document that's going on your main website outside of one of those announcements, it is going to come to my desk, it is going to come to me, and I'm going to come at you anyway, if it's not accessible. So that means we in the accessibility industry talk about shifting left. Left is in the timeline. shift it earlier in the timeline, get an accessibility expert to look at your template earlier on is better, instead of when the long document is created. So let's decide on, you know, maybe a look for that document, maybe how we want it to flow. We can even collab on a template, which would take a few minutes, and then you could all put in your content instead of bringing me 100 pages of content and trying to make it accessible after the fact.
All right. Thank you.
I've been struggling, Rachel, for the record, sorry. Get a template that they don't break. So maybe you and I could work to take what I have and make it something that's like user friendly, but also accessible that they can't break.
If you have any ideas for like how you want to change the template, I'm open to hearing them. I can answer from an accessibility standpoint. I can't, like I said, I can't answer from a, you know, the
Right.
that works with your procedure, policies, anything like that standpoint. But maybe we have some ideas for how things could be a little more user friendly. I just, and when I say just, I mean during this meeting, saw a meme on Facebook that says, why is there this huge gap in your resume? It's because I tried to move an image in Microsoft Word. And in my time as an accessibility specialist, especially working with digital documents, I have developed some strategies to work around those issues, right? And I kind of know how it wants to work. If that makes sense. Like I know when people are pushing Google Docs further that it wants to go. So I'm definitely open to hearing if you want to change the template.
Okay.
Yeah, let's look at it.
Perfect.
You, I think, already have the link to add meetings to my calendar. But if you need it, reach out. Anybody's welcome to come to me direct with an email. Anybody is welcome to throw something on my calendar if we want to play around with the template or some kind of, you got some issue that you've never seen before that you have questions about.
Sounds good.
Does anybody have any last minute questions? I have to cut this off in like 30 seconds because we have a long agenda to get through.
Yep.
Going once, twice. Good, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Alrighty, everyone, we are going to speed round it because I have to be out of here in 15 and a half minutes.
Okay.
So we're going to move into item 7A. Thank you so much. We're going to move into item 7A, the GPSA fee increase. So basically GPSA needs a fee increase. I have met with Dean of the Graduate College about this. I've chatted with Nia about it. I've had a meeting with President Heavey on it. Typically the deadline is actually in May and we've completely missed it, but I was able to work with the president and provost's office and get an extension. Our fee increase deadline is now September 25th. So some things that we are working on is we are sending out a survey. Nia is helping us with it. And we have it pretty much ready to go. We're just trying to get it sent out now. But with that fee increase, after my conversations with President Heavey, we're asking for a $25 fee increase, which will basically just be doubling what our current fee is. So we'll be going from $25 a semester to $50 a semester, which will be $100 a year. I just genuinely think that we need it. If this gets approved by, or if the votes are positive from the student body and then council approves it, we would move forward with it. I'll be working on the report. Rachel is also helping me. Thank you so much. But I guess before we go too much further, sorry, your meeting shows a Zoom link. Okay, before we go too much further, are you guys okay with me finishing and going ahead with this fee increase? What are you guys' comments and concerns?
It's going.
Perfect. Yes, I think so too. Nia, do you have any comments on fee increase?
I have a question for the record when we
Please.
jump in. And Nia can probably answer this. This is Rachel for the record. For the record for today, when's the last time we had a fee increase?
I want to say 2017, 2016.
Nope,
Nia, Sorry, yeah, Nia.
Oh, it was 2019. The last time the student body was surveyed for a fee increase was in fall of 2018, and then we saw the fee increase for fiscal year 2019.
Okay.
Perfect. Okay, then yeah, 2019 would be
Yeah.
that answer.
Fall of 2019 was when the fee went up.
Perfect. Does anybody have any other questions? Or Nia, did you have any other thoughts on fee increase?
Yes, the only other thing for the, sorry, the information for the record, I spoke with the dean of the graduate college, and so Trey was mentioning that he spoke with the president and the provost, and we, at one point, the president even said to Trey that the student government fees shouldn't be handled in the same procedure that the rest of the university has to follow, the other academic units and other administrative units have to follow, which is around like an 18-month procedure, because obviously you guys have 12-year terms or 12-month terms, 12 years. Can you imagine? So with that being said, typically if we followed the administrative procedure as it's spelled out, it would go through the dean of the graduate college. GPSA would basically put its reports together. It would pull all the pieces that it needs, including a survey, taking it to council to have a vote, and basically have to demonstrate to the regents that the students support this fee change. And then once the whoever's requesting the fee change has the support of the student body, they can take it to the regents for approval at the December quarterly Board of Regents meeting. And ours would go through. So the dean of the unit has to be the one who submits the fee increase to the president's office. That's the typical step. And so that is one thing that the dean of grad college did want to get clarification on. And Trey, would you be able to reach out to the president and the provost and just clarify that step? Because the dean wants to know if they're still needing to submit it through their office. Does it need to have does it need to come from the dean's inbox or have their stamp of approval in some way?
So I can already answer that question. I was just told that they want to make sure that the dean of the graduate college is in support of it. So they can send it on to Ariana and her team, or we can send it, CC them, and CC the dean, and then she can just respond saying thumbs up, and we'll have a better process for next time. But because it's such a quick turnaround, they're being a little flexible with all of the requirements.
With this situation. So the one thing that she did ask for then, if hoping that was the answer, if inside is the answer, would you still be able to just write to them confirming that this is our understanding of the steps and then CC Alyssa on it?
Yes, I will do that.
So clarity on exactly what we're planning on doing based off of the conversations, and then have her CC'd. To be completely blunt, she wants to make sure that when she approves it, nobody else above her can come back and say, no, we're not doing that.
Yep. We can definitely do that.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yes, and then Devin, you have your hand up.
Yes, thank you, Devin Lopez for the record. I mean, I've been in support of a fee increase for several years now. It's just GPSA's operations are running up against a brick wall at this point, and we can't really expand or do any new programs that we've been wanting to do. My only concern would be with the proposed increase of 25. I don't like I'd imagine it might garner some opposition within the student body, being like a doubling of the fee, but that would be my only concern about it. Would just be the size of it, but that was it.
Yeah, no, and I definitely agree to that, Devin. We do kind of have to do 25 because that is what President Hebe has given us the thumbs up on. So when I asked him what fee increase are we like looking at, like what would you say is a comfortable number? He asked how much is our fee currently? I said $25. He's like, okay, what would you love it to be? I said, well, I'd like to, see it increase by at least $10. And he was like, $10 isn't enough. You guys should ask for just a doubling of your fee. $50 is not a very high fee. So we're off of his recommendation. We're moving forward with the $25 100% increase. But yeah. Okay. Other questions, comments, concerns on fee increase? Also, this wouldn't take effect until fall of 2027. So we'll work in our current budget. This would all take place starting next fall year, academic year.
We need sorry, Vice President. But it's gonna need the Board of Regents approval.
The Board of Regents has to approve all fees.
Oh, okay. All right.
And they will do that in the December meeting.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, everything done by the 25th. So,
Okay, that's fine.
But they can also, Kalyani, for the record, but how sure are we, like, they're gonna approve or
It's not a very high fee, $50 is not much when you look at the grand.
is it
scheme of
per,
all
per
the other-
student?
Yes.
Okay.
So it's not very high. Sorry, President Curtis Brown for the record. It's not a very high fee in the grand scheme of things. So I don't believe Board of Regents is going to be opposing it too strongly. But it is still their prerogative to say yes or no. Even if everybody said yes and every student said yes, the board could still say no. I think with the current board and their leadership, they like when we propose our own fee increases and we can pay for our own things because it's asking for less help from them and from other areas on campus. So I'm not really too worried about it at the Board of Regents level. Yes, thank you. Okay, I'm going to speed round it. Can we go to item 7? Oh, all right, yes. Can we vote just so I can feel comfortable moving forward on everything with exec board's blessing to move forward with our fee increase? So I'm just gonna say all in favor, please say aye. Alrighty, any opposed? And any abstaining? Okay, not seeing any. With a vote of 4-0, we will be going forward with our GPSA fee increase, at least collecting the data, and we'll be taking it to council for final approval. Okay, we are going to move to item 7C, our council requirements discussion. Are you able to do this in about 5 minutes?
Sure. So
Oh,
essentially.
all right, one
Yeah.
last note. The next 2 items, I already have quite a bit of information on. But Nehemiah, can you finish running the meeting if I have to run? Because then you guys don't have to wait on just me, but we can go back to council items.
Yeah, I can go pretty quick. So I started a draft of the just like a letter to give to the council. Thank you, Devin, for putting I think it was Devin that put the Robert's Rules link. So I'll link that to the form. Essentially what I just want to kind of run by everybody is that the expectations that I listed according to our bylaws and sort of what we talked about were that they're expected to attend every council meeting in person, and that we will make exceptions based on need. And the one big question I have for Nia, so I'm asking them to attempt to find a proxy first, fill out the proxy form. If no proxy is available, then they can request a Zoom link. However, I do have concerns with the wording for accessibility purposes. And so I was thinking that there should be wording in there that sort of says, like, if you need accessibility for the whole of the council, that they need to go through DRC. But I don't know if that's necessary. So I don't know how much wiggle room we want to give them to be able to say, I need the Zoom link for the entirety of the council meetings, but we need that option available. Does that make sense?
Wait, sorry.
So, okay, so we're saying they can't get the Zoom link automatically. You have to request it. But because of accessibility, we can't just be like, no, there's no Zoom link available for anybody. We have to have that option available for people who might need that option. And I know we discussed like medical reps not being able to get over here. So how do we want to handle allowing for that option for the whole semester?
I mean, I think we'll just take it on a case by case basis, figure it out.
So is that the wording that we want to have, is like on a case by case basis, depending on need, you can request the Zoom link and then
Yeah,
like have that be in the form?
yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, just point of clarification. Can you walk me through that again? I don't think I understand.
So
I'm sorry.
I'm concerned with the accessibility wording of it. So if I say no one can attend, like everyone has to attend in person, but you can request a one-time Zoom link. My concern is like if somebody wants to join council and they're like, well, I can never attend in person because I have accessibility needs. That needs to be clear that that's something that we will accommodate.
I guess to that point though, is there any accessibility needs that say that they can't come to campus that's on a fully accessible campus?
So that's the question is like, how much do we, because like technically we're supposed to say that we have those options for people to attend virtually if they need it.
I would say, let's say,
Like, I would like to check with DRC just to make sure that we're following procedure that we're supposed to follow.
if there is an accessibility DRC accommodation needed, that they can work through our professional staff with Mia and you. And if there is that, because I don't want to break their confidentiality or DRC stuff, we will say that they will work with DRC and our professional staff to figure out those details. And then we'll just all loop in. Nia, are you okay if you're like,
yeah, we could just say that. Yeah, I mean, we could also just say, we could say like case by case basis.
Yeah.
We'll work with situations on a case by case basis.
Case by case basis, is that enough to cover like our like legal requirement on that note?
Yeah, because we're not denying it.
Well, it's a bylaw. I mean, I'm so sorry. Sorry, Trey, I didn't mean to speak over you, and I'm not chair of this meeting, so sorry.
No, go for it.
All right, sorry, Nia's proceeding for the record. It's currently a GPSA bylaw that council members attend, council representatives, the voting council representatives attend in person. Trey is simply enforcing that bylaw. So if somebody needs an exception to that bylaw, we can revisit those. We can visit those on a case by case basis. And ultimately, maybe we could, with our constitution and bylaws chair, maybe that's something that we could have be left up to whom to decide, to the council to decide, to the executive board to decide.
Yeah, so I essentially what
Secretary.
I'm asking, I guess my question is how we need to sort of determine this wording before I put this out to the council.
Yes, okay, so let's find a little time a little later. Sorry. Really quick, can you be in the Zoom?
I'm working on it, yeah.
So Rachel is going to do the audio for the Zoom. Nehemiah, are you able to finish running our executive board meeting? I am very sorry, everyone. I have to get to a meeting with Fine Arts team. So we're gonna take a
Can I have
2-minute
this?
recess. Yes. USB, or do you need it?
I have USB.
Alrighty, so our vice president is going to finish taking over the meeting for us. I'm very sorry, everyone. I have to run. Comment is on the item for our town hall. It's not a GA unionization town hall anymore. It's going to be a GPSA grad college town hall on GAs. And I will send out more.
Is that if you want me to?
Yeah, so Devin and Rachel were both in that meeting last night. We're gonna pause GA unionization efforts, and instead, this is just gonna be a town hall for GAs who want to reach out and communicate and talk about issues, concerns that they're facing with the university, their programs, etc. But Nia, I talked to her last night about it too. I messaged Alyssa about it, our Dean Creighton as well. We're going to go ahead with the town hall same time, but it's not going to be around unionization. It's going to be around everything else. But message me if you need anything, and I will be out of here.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you stop the share on this? Yeah. But I guess you need agenda. Huh? Do you have the agenda?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
And then Nia's Messina is actually coming up the stairs. So I will be in the graduate comment space in just a minute.
We already had a motion to discuss all new business item, right? Okay, so moving to the next item on the agenda, item 7D. Basically, it's all about the sponsorship program matching funds, MOUs. Like President Trey informed us on this Slack platform, that we had extra funds from a lot of colleges of health, education, interdisciplinary program, engineering, and a lot of them. So I think basically we just have, I think, 4 colleges left. But basically now we're trying to see how we can get MOUs to be able to know how we can be able to structure the funds. So it's open for discussion. How we're going to do, what's the best MOUs to use to ensure that we serve the students. Because I think he said something about, I think each college is having a kind of a requirement that those funds actually has to be. Oh, good, you are here. So I think Trey said something about the funds having to be used by that particular college. So if College of Education gives $10,000, it means that the $10,000 have to go to the students under the college. So basically, just to see how to. So we need options, basically, to see how to structure the whole.
So Rachel, for the record, just to clarify for the minutes, so like if the art department provides $10,000, then presumably that goes to art department students.
Yeah.
Okay. So what would happen if like not $10,000 worth of art department applications going, it would just ride till we use up those funds?
That's what we'll have to discuss.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
Stuff, okay.
Yeah, so that's what we'll have to discuss. Yeah, because there's also a high tendency that we might not have a lot of applications from the art students. Yeah, and we're going to have some funds left. So basically, that's what we're trying to discuss. So, but I don't know, will the MOUs be same across all colleges, or it's going to be tied to a specific college? So we're going to have MOUs for maybe education different, engineering different, and stuff like that. So, though I know he told us because he was present in the last sponsorship committee meeting, that's President Tree, and he talked about the committee sitting to look into this. So I don't know if you want me to take it to the committee, and then we get the MOUs and then we bring it to the executive board. What do you think?
Yes,
Yeah.
the chair. So what we talked about when Trey and I joined a call with the admins from hospitality, and on that call, it was, I believe this is why an MOU would be nice, because I'm like, I believe this is what we had said. It would be that they would have an account number that they would utilize, and then they would go to financial aid and request what's called a line item type. And it's just a line item type for the sponsorship fund. So that way the award bypasses outstanding fees and goes directly to the student, which is exactly how our sponsorship funds work. But we can't do interdepartmental fund transfers for very rare cases. We can do that. And in this situation, we would not be able to do that. So their match would work like that on the business side of things, getting the funds to the student. The real question is, how do we want to adjust sponsorship? Would this be a workflow change on team dynamics? Do we want to incorporate their dean early on? They requested that they have a very specific dean or associate dean of research who would like to be notified of like the award letters, even the applications, because they also have a research fund, it turns out, in that college. And I think like the med school does as well. So that's what the MOU would kind of have to cover. So I think they would be individual, but I think at least as far as the funds go, the process should stay the same for each one unless they have an ask otherwise. I think they're kind of asking us unless they have a really strong opinion on how they want to do it. But I think them using their account number, getting the specialized line item type for GPSA sponsorship funding, and having that go into the MOU, with the exceptions of the few that have research funds of their own and how they'd like to do that match. And then it would just be, these students got awarded. They would fund half the award, we would fund the other half. So if it was $1,250, we'd fund $625.
Yeah.
And they would fund $625. Which a terrible example, sorry. But
so basically the money they're not giving us the money, right?
they're basically, we can, as sorry, yes, Marcina again for the record. as the VP is the chair of that committee, when you do your monthly budgets, you can how do I want to say this? This is a good point. I see what you're saying. So I would still budget knowing that you have additional funds, but let's say, because most of the colleges have agreed to this. So if there's a scenario where a student from one of the colleges that have been able to do the match funds that they spend that we do not spend, you would then be able to spread out over the next months and then just keep letting it roll until we're able to expand. That's how I would recommend doing it. Does that make sense?
So let's say, for instance, we have a scenario where, okay, the hospitality college, maybe let's say $10,000, and then the money gets disbursed and it's over. Are we going to consider hospitality now in the GPSA budget, sponsorship budget?
Do they go into our total?
Yeah.
I would say yes.
Okay.
And the only reason I would say that is that if those students are not applying for funding, if we're not
I would say yes, because if those students are not applying for funding and we're not, so we can help them with that match, that would mean that we would need to do an outreach campaign. We need to talk to that college and we could do a targeted email to those students and find out why they're not applying, when in the previous years, because we went off of data from previous years for these. So, I mean, we demonstrate that these students are the ones who apply for funding, and sometimes they don't even get the funding because we just simply run out of money in the budget. So if they're not applying, why? And then get them to apply. But if you want to have like a grace in your fund, in your budget, I also understand that it's up to you how you would like to allocate that. But we have a treasurer here who handles money.
So can you then take it card?
Better advice.
No. Can you give me more context? Maybe I just missed while I was checking for the plugin. So is it like we have received like approval from few of the departments that they'll give us a scholarship? But is it not like they disburse us? So maybe I missed the context. If you can give me more, I'd be.
Yeah, so basically what I understand, so they so each college is allocated some certain amount of money to be used for the GPSA sponsorship program funding. But the look of things is we are not going to be the one to disburse the money. So let's say, for instance, I'm in engineering, for instance, and then I apply for the GPSA sponsorship funds, and then I get awarded, let's say, $1,250. So GPSA now covers from our own account, we cover $625. And then the other college, that's College of Engineering, we have to now fund the other part, $625. So, but I don't know how it's going to work, because it's going to be a lot of issues, because it means the workflow is going to be more. Yeah, because I'm trying to see how to go through that process. Because the roster, I think it's going to be a lot of work on Mia's part, actually. If they can actually allow us, maybe take the money, as the colleges give the money to GPSA, while we'll just, based on our internal stuff, we allocate those money just for that particular college, then that's best. So we know, we have $225,000 and they give us $65,000. We add it together, spread the budget across. But basically, we're going to keep those particular funds for just strictly for those colleges. So we don't need them to disburse the funds themselves, maybe part of the funds, right? So basically, we just do that ourselves from GPS. I think that would be best because I don't know how it's going to be if we'll have to. Because now, yeah, so because I know in TDX, you normally have to put in those details. Okay, we're going to, so I'm just trying to figure out how it's going to work.
Good. Kalyani, for the record. So this kind of give me additional task that we need to even look at how much we awarded and how much we have the budget, how much is actually disbursed from our account. So this way we will come to know actually whether we Like usually I've seen the roster where we put the entire awarded amount in the roster and that will be sent out to the I think financial aid or cashiering department for the dispersal. But I'm not sure whether the funds of like entire awarded amount will be gone like or will be taken from our scholarship account, since I have no access to that because I'm not able to do that match. But we have to look at whether are they really taking funds from department side and then dispersing to the students or not. Yeah, I'm not. No, it's like what I understand is that when the student is awarded 2,500, 1,250 comes from department side, 1,250 comes from our GPSA side. Okay. So we send out the roster to the cashiering department, financial aid department for disbursal to the student. The roster includes 2,500. It doesn't include only our portion. It includes full disbursal amount of 2,500. Okay, that's what. Yeah, you can.
Yes, Marcina, for the record. So this is the point that would change. So it would actually be, so if a student was in this example awarded $2,500 for international conference travel, for example, GPSA would cover $1,250, and then their college would pay $1,250. GPSA would send a roster with its own account number and its own line item type. And then the college would have to send a separate roster with its account number and its line item type. So the student would essentially receive 2 awards totaling $1,250 to get their full award amount. So it'll look a little bit different to students in this situation, which is why the line item type is really important. It should be labeled something like GPSA sponsorship support or something, or research support or something like that. But it
So it means we have to. So it means we have to reach out to. So when we have a decision for that particular student, we have to now reach out to the college. And then, it's going to be, the workflow is going to be, because we have no control over a lot of things now. Okay.
Yes, Marcina, for the record. So what one of the colleges requested, for example, the College of Hospitality, when students apply, they asked that their associate dean of research gets copied on those applications so that they're made aware of them. But then because they also have a research fund for obvious reasons, they don't want students to ask for funding from GPSA for an activity and then also go to their college to ask for money for the same activity. Different activities, no problem. But the same activity, we don't want people to be double funded for. And that is something that we can build into the workflow. So if the student's program, when they select what program they're from, it would be, if it was hospitality, it would automatically add another step to notify a particular email address. Now, I did ask that it be a generic email address and not a human's email address, just because people change their roles and then we have to go and edit our workflow. So while they still want it to go to that associate dean of research, I did ask also. So that's something that we could do where we build like a Google group for that particular situation, and then we send it to that email address. There's a couple of different workarounds we could do, so that way it's easier to change. But, or I don't know, I'll have to figure out something else. But they did give me one other generic email address we could send it to, and build that into our workflow. So when those students get the award letters, we just have to make sure that their department, and this could be an easier change too, or we, instead of just being their faculty advisor, it would also go to their department chair or program director. So not just their faculty member, but also the people that are handling the administrative side of their department. But the issue there is keeping up to date with our department chairs and our grad coordinators and all of that. But again, these are things that we can build into the workflow, but they do take time to change, to make those changes.
Thanks.
Right now, we'd have to just handle it manually until we can get them built into the workflow. We just have to remember it until we can get them built in. But it would just be, yeah, if somebody from hospitality applies. So like right now, if somebody from hospitality applies at the end of the cycle, when yourself as the chair is going through the applications, if you see some from one of the groups that we are developing these MOUs with, just make sure that we will inform them, letting you know, because then through that we could even send it through the ticket. Dear Dean of, I don't know, College of Sciences, we have received this many applications for sponsorship totaling this much money. You can give them a breakdown like that. But that is an extra step that we'll have to address after we get the MOU signed. And once we get the workflows updated, it should be automatic. Does that clarify what it might look like? Ish.
Rachel, for the record, I have a question about ownership of choosing applications. Like if the money is technically supposed to be for GPSA sponsorship, we'll have control over who gets awarded based off how much funds that they have, etc., and they'll get chosen that way. Like, would we potentially fund somebody who doesn't meet the eligibility points because they're the only one or something like that? It's kind of, where does the ownership lie? Like, my impression was they were providing GPSA with additional sponsorship money. So they're putting requirements on it. It feels like without the ability to choose who is awarded that, then it shouldn't go through us at all if they have control over the funds.
Yeah, based on my own knowledge, VP Nema for the record, I think we have control over the application process. Yeah. So what we don't have control over is the disbursement process. But for the application process, it's still going to follow the normal GPSA sponsorship operating policy. So yeah, it will be part of the MOUs. So if they don't meet I think currently we do 85%. Yeah, below 85% we deny the application. Yes, I think that should be. Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
So I guess one of the questions I do have for this group, and maybe this is something that would go into the MOU, is from the business money movement side of it. Let's say that there is a college and they agree to a $10,000 match and they've only utilized $5,000 and it's now May and there's only 2 months left in the fiscal year. Is there going to be a situation where they say, oh, we have a student that we'd like to fund, and they didn't score high enough, maybe they scored 80% or not 85% of their application, and they would GPSA be pressured into funding that, or would we just simply say, this is up to you to decide if you're going to fund the student, you have the mechanism, you have the awards?
A thought that I would have is I wouldn't want to just say, okay, we'll award that. I would say they could go to an appeals process with like, your application needs some edits, and we'd kick it back to the student to then kick it back to us. So it wouldn't be just an automatic approval, but there's some work exchange involved. Does that make sense with the system that exists?
You have to see it for the record. We do have an appeals process, but if it's outside the timeline, if it's too soon to the event, then GPSA won't review it. Basically, if it's happening like in 6 weeks, as we can't do a whole lot. But we could say in that scenario, we could share the application with the college, and then they can decide if they wish to fund the student using whatever mechanism they might have, and then let it be in their house, and then they could use the funds, I suppose.
Yes.
So let's just stay within the parameters of the current policy.
Adeni, for the record, so we have received additional funding from few of the departments this year. Are these funds have any terms and condition tied to it? Like maybe example, like 50% of the funds that they're giving out of $10,000 should only go to their department students. and 50% only we have the right, because that also determines how the budget is going, because when we have no right on that, we cannot, I think it will be there in our budget, but we cannot allocate to other students. So we cannot. So do we have, yeah. That's one question. Second question, are we going to receive all these funds? If that is the case, did we receive any letter from the department? When are they going to release that funds to GPSA? Yeah.
So because it's very difficult to transfer funds between accounts at UNLV, the funds won't be placed into our accounts, but they will remain with the department's accounts with the department. And then actually this might be more than one department. I think about it, a lot of these folks have to do line items. Right. They would be the ones who would send it from their own department's roster, their own department's account number. It would just be an agreement. That's where the MOU comes into play, the memorandum of understanding. And then we would have to make sure that we're in line when those rosters get sent out and sent to the students. And we just have to be in communication pretty much at that point with the colleges and the specific department who's the student is from. So we won't see the money in our accounts. So actually going to the budget report, how do we want to show extramural funds?
I think look at is memorandum MOE is still like we have to work on that, or is it finalized with the department? Just to look at the terms and conditions. No. Okay.
Yeah, so Smriti, for the record, we have not drafted the MOUs yet. That is part of our discussion. So they're undrafted. They're ready to be molded to what we need.
Now this makes sense to me. So maybe until we receive final document written something that they have approved these funds to GPSA, I don't think so. I'm not sure if is there any likelihood of getting or not getting. We need to see, and then we need to incorporate in budget. That's what I think. So something that has to go into the budget, there has to be likelihood, chance that we receive these funds from the departments. So even though we receive this in oral, like they'll sponsor us, I'm not sure until, I believe before our council meeting, we should have a MOU in place to include those funds in our budget. Otherwise, I don't think so we can include those amounts in our budget and take it to the council for approval. So maybe we can exclude that if we don't have everything in place from the budget for next council meeting. And then in later interim council meeting, we can include, it's like updated budget. We can do that once we have this, yeah.
Can we include this in our budget at all? It has to be a separate, like, tracking system, not actual money. Right?
Really, for the regard, that's where I'm more emphasizing on the terms and conditions. What right or what extent we have right on those funds determines whether we need to include in budget or not. So unless we have memorandum of understanding, we cannot include in the budget. It's just the oral confirmation that they give GPSA funds. So this will not give us any right to include in our budget. So no, I did not have this situation. Like I never had this information before budget. So just we got to through. Maybe we will wait till budget council meeting or till the date we post the agenda. If we have enough information, we will see what we can do in the budget. If not, we will remove from the budget those sponsorship. Yeah, that works. Yeah.
Reported separately from sponsorship, that like in numbers of like we have matched X number of dollars, but sponsorship has awarded X number of dollars, and keep it separate because we don't actually have the money and we have to sort of track it differently up to 10,000 matched. And then that's no longer a consideration anymore. So I don't think it should be reported as a budget. I think it should be like you know, our matching program has this much and our sponsorship has this much, right?
So for the September council budget that we're going to take, I agree that how you guys plan to set it up. Is there any way that we could still do just the extramural funds list so that way the council can see what has been verbally promised and then know what MOUs we're working on, so it'll be easier to in October slip in and then we have it all written down. Okay.
So I was thinking that that promise to pay from the universities will be part of potential scholarships. So there'll not be any appropriation against that. It will be just like separate line item that we are going to receive in future. Like it's a potential scholarships. So there'll not be any appropriation. Also, I think we need to look at even for appropriation for our own GPSA funds, how much of appropriation, like, or we can look at the past, like how many students applied from the respective departments, like hospitality department, or from whom we are potentially going to receive sponsorship. Because if 10% of those students are from these departments, potentially we will be potentially those students will be getting the funds from those departments, not from GPSA, I think. So in that case, we will not appropriate that amount to those students. So we have to reduce the number of students who are going to apply. Also, how many students have applied for graduation? They say like studying currently graduation, because I've seen huge increase than estimated. I think we estimated around 9,400 students for fall and spring, the budget, revenue budget. Yeah, so I think that 9,000 is like maybe between fall and spring together. But I've seen that Trey has informed like around 7,500 graduate students have registered this fall alone. So that is going to increase our budget again. But I think we will have to modify my budget according to the information at the end of each semester and then take it to the council. So we'll have the true picture rather than at the end of the year. So those are, yeah. So we will have more again for the sponsorship.
So based on what you're trying to say, the budget that was actually proposed was based on roughly 9,400 students, fall and spring combined.
Yeah.
But currently now for fall, we have 7,000 enrolled. Wow.
So I do not have that information yet, but I would like to work with maybe Trey or persons who have access to this law, who can give me this information so I can potentially check how it is going to affect our budget and all. Also, Nia, I'm not sure if it's out of context, but when am I going to get access to Workday?
I learned that the steps I have to take are today, this morning, and I'm very excited about it. And I was actually going to tell you about that after this. So I know, at least I know where I'm supposed to go to find the request to get the access. I know. So yay. Okay, so for the budget then, one more update then with the scholarships amount. So we do get a supplemental support from the graduate college of $35,000. So that's something that we can demonstrate. That is happening. So that's promised. They've been doing that for years, actually. It's been $35K. And then one of the things, I don't want to go off topic. Can I see the agenda really quick? I don't want to.
The town hall.
The town hall's after this. And what was this first agenda item? Can I see how it was described one more time? We're on item.
Oh,
Sponsorship program. I just wanted, okay. All right, perfect. So this is tiny. I didn't want to talk about it if it didn't like match the description of how it was written. Okay, so the 35K from the graduate college, that can be that can be budgeted for. So like GPSA is budgeting 200,000 and the 35K, so 235. One of the things that we put in the Constitution was a change in the executive board stipends. So one part of it is increasing the amount of those stipends, and then it still has to go through a constitutional pass, which will most likely be voted on in October. So it won't go to the chancellor yet. But the graduate college does $26,000 in scholarship support to the executive board officers. And the proposal was take that $26,000, ask the graduate college to apply it towards a sponsorship program. Instead, GPSA is going to increase the stipends that it pays executive board officers out of its own fee. So that way you guys aren't dependent on external scholarships for basically for a larger stipend. So that's the change coming with the Constitution. So do you want to, so that would change the $35,000 ask to a $61,000, sorry, supplement to a $61,000 supplemental amount. So it'd be 261 that we could count on from the graduate college. Do you want to wait for that 26K until after the Constitution passes?
First, 35K. Okay. First, 35K, we receive funds. They disburse funds to GPSA. Scholarship. Okay.
But
Okay.
it's not match, so it's just
Yeah.
the whole award, you got $2,500 graduate college paid.
Got it.
So it's not
That we can choose, like which students have to be funded through graduate college according to the roster. Okay. And then, yeah.
So I didn't get that. You said we have to what? We have to reach out to graduate college.
So for the graduate college amount, it's for the 35,000, it's just we use the graduate college's account number and their line item type that they just give us year over year. So the full award amount goes from that pot. If there's a student, they have to be students that are under the graduate college. They can't be from the professional schools, but it's not a match situation where the award gets split between two different account numbers. The whole award goes through one account.
The reason I'm asking is because currently we're adding a couple of to the already proposed budget for the sponsorship.
Mhm.
So we splitted the budgets based on.
Yes, we're allocating the budget. Oh, so we do the 35,000 typically first. Yeah. Did I do it in the last roster? Did I copy Ashlyn on it? Great. Thank goodness Nehemiah is here to remember these things, little details. Perfect. So that was one of the ones that went through the $35,000 supplemental. Yes. 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 Sorry, if that was difficult to understand. There already has the most recent award cycle was funded. It was all students from graduate college or from programs governed by the graduate college. So that award cycle was funded through the 35,000 supplemental. Yes.
But those are roughly, I think, 26,000. So we have.
What?
26,000.
Yeah, so the $26,000 is an executive board scholarship through the graduate college. It's basically a gift from the graduate college. But one of the points that I brought up year over year is that if anybody from dental medicine or law ever ran for executive board, they wouldn't be eligible for that scholarship. And would GPSA be the one to fund it? And then also, this is also a piece that if there are ever disagreements between how the student government wanted to operate and administration, this is something that could be taken away. And I didn't want you all to be in that kind of a position. So, and the stipends that were in the bylaws were egregiously small. They're $550 per semester for the president, vice president, $550 and $350. I don't know last time, I don't know when that got set, but it's been that way forever. And y'all have been banking on the scholarships. So the proposal is to do away with the scholarships, put the stipends through the student fee, and let this scholarship support go to the GPSA programs.
We already included the regard. In budget, we have already included. Sorry, yeah. So in budget, we have already included executive board pay. If you remember that portion, we worked everything. Is that different from what you're talking about? That $26, so 26,000 graduate college, the scholarship that is basically that was decided before we come into the executive board. Is it both are different, or you're trying to integrate into the?
because there's so many things happening kind of synchronously, especially with the constitutional change and the stipends change. Actually, sorry, again, Nias Messina for the record. Actually, Rachel, would you mind checking if that's in the bylaws and not in the, I don't think that's in the Constitution. I think that's a bylaw change, the stipend amounts. The 550 and the 350. Sorry, we're getting a little clarification on if that piece is in the bylaws, because if that is the case, that could be a bylaw change proposal. Because it's
Devin
in the
Lopez,
current
for the
budget.
record.
So that could be something that gets taken to council in October if the September budget passes. Well, if the budget passes in September, the bylaw change can go to October. And it would be non-dependent, it wouldn't be dependent on the Constitution at that point.
Devin Lopez, for the record, the
Or just look for, like,
stipend amounts are
350.
in the bylaws, not the
550.
Constitution.
Is the stipends, how much the executive board pay? I think it's under remuneration. Or if you do a control F for like 550, it should find it. Is that in the bylaws? All right, so yeah. Section 6, remuneration. Can I say what? Perfect. Okay, so if the budget passes in September with the council stipends included, which is already built in, and I recommend we take that to Constitution and bylaws, which Devin's still here, thank goodness. So that would be a bylaw change under Section 6, remuneration. Wow, it's like Rebel Ready Week. These R words are killing me.
There's two.
And it would be an amount change. And bylaw changes require 10 days notice. So that we wouldn't be able to take that to September council if we wanted to for a vote anyway. So it would just be, so it wouldn't be dependent on the Constitution vote. So that's good. So constitutional change is not dependent on this. It would just be a bylaw change. So budget vote, it would be dependent on a budget vote. If the council approves the budget, the executive board stipends are included in that. And then that would be when we would say in graduate college, we're requesting that the $26,000 in scholarships to the executive board get repurposed to GPSA programs, specifically sponsorship. Oh, Devin says Constitution and bylaws will be recommending amendments to remuneration at our meeting next week. Perfect. And that'll align nicely with the October meeting, assuming the budget passes council on September 9th.
So still there'll be two types of payments that executive board initially had for being on a committee. One is stipends from the GPSA, one is from the graduate college through scholarships. But that's currently how it is. But so it's changing entirely to the GPSA. That's what is okay. That's what, yeah. So that $26,000 that we will use it for sponsorship. Okay, so understood.
Full circle and why it still applies to this agenda item, sponsorship program, MOUs, and funding. So we can wait with bated breath on September 9th, assuming the budget passes. That would mean for sure sponsorship can bank on $261,000. So I think it's safe to start saying that you can start allocating the rest of the cycles on that amount. And then we can figure out what the actual, for sure 261. And then the rest of it would be how you choose to handle that budget, how you choose to handle those allocations. I guess if that helps. And we could, I mean, I think this is going to be something you're going to have to adjust these probably every month until this shakes out a little bit, but it'll be fun to track because at least you're not working with the deficit. It'll be like, oh, I have this extra pot over here.
What are we concluding? You said? So I'm actually proposing take it back to the sponsorship committee to look at the MOUs, maybe myself, the vice chair, and then maybe 2 or 3 committee members who just look at it and then send it over to President Trey to now look at it and then bring it to the e-board again. So because I don't.
Yes, Messina, for the record, I believe Trey is trying to draft these MOUs, but do we have somebody who, is there accountability for who's drafting the MOUs at this moment?
Yes, VP Nima, for the record, during the last sponsorship committee meeting, he told us to add it to the next agenda, the MOUs. Yeah. So he wants the sponsorship committee to draft the MOUs.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah. So that's what I'm proposing. Okay. I've heard from Kayani, I've heard from you. So I know our options. So I take it back to the committee and then we'll look at it and then draft the MOUs and then send it back to him. He had the meetings with the various deans, so I think he knows better. He can now compile everything and then bring it to the executive board for the action. Yeah.
My suggestion is when you draft MOU, include that GPSA will have a right to use some funds. But then I'm not sure, like that's what the terms, the president agreed with them. But if we draft in such a way that we can be person is applying for a matter that's called. But once if they agree, we will have the right honor to this, but if not, they will come back to us. No, I'm saying we have to draft MOU in such a way that we have all the right on the funds. We can decide who is eligible for that fund. Like whoever passes basically our criteria can receive that funds. It's as good as the GPSA scholarship.
Yeah. So basically,
We have let's be in good.
Yeah. Yeah, VP Nima for the record. So basically, what is going to be in the MOUs and I believe all the things we have to agree to that is the fact that they have to follow the operating policy of the GPSA sponsorship committee at the moment. So if, let's say, for instance, they have more funds and then that student doesn't meet, so there's going to be a caveat to it, like an exception. Okay, the student has maybe 80% or 75%, and we reach out to the department and they feel there's a need or want you to give it to the student, irrespective of whatever thing. We can create an exception to that. Yeah, it can be a caveat to that, yeah. But for now, I think the most important thing is to go draft this MOU because from what I'm seeing, it's going to be a lot of. That's fine, yeah. Yeah, it's going to be a lot, but that'll be very easy if GPSA is fully in charge of it. And then it is just at the end of the section or the end of the semester, we just reach out to the various deans and say, oh, you gave us $10,000, you're able to give out to XYZ to this amount of students in your department or in your college. That would have been very easy, but it's cool. 145. Yeah. So should I?
We can.
Yeah, okay. Okay.
Oh, sorry, I was gonna say, sorry for the previous agenda. I was just going to state that we're going to be having meetings with the other admins from the other colleges. So I'm going to make sure that you can be in on those meetings. So that way, when we discuss what's going into that MOU, you'll be on the meeting, on the call. If you can make those calls, otherwise we'll have to get notes. But I think being on the call is going to be way easier.
Yeah, you got it.
Okay.
Thank you. So are we moving to the next item or we have to vote on something? I don't think so, right?
Yeah.
It's actually possible for possible action, but we are not.
Yes, Messina, for the record, for item E, Town Hall and Graduate Assistant Unionization. All right, so I think the vote will just simply be to what is the purpose of the event and agree to the time and location and all that, if the executive board wants to move forward with it.
We're going to open item 7E for discussion. Yeah. 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 Yeah, Devin, please, you can speak.
Thank you. Devin Lopez for the record. Yeah, so for this item, we did have the meeting last night with some members of AW and UAW.
Wait.
Oh.
Hold on, we don't have speakers.
We don't have, yeah.
Hold on. Wait, say something? Are you speaking?
Testing, testing.
I think he's speaking.
I think he's,
Hello, can you hear me?
it says he's talking, but.
I'm going to keep talking until I get confirmation. Testing, testing,
Okay, try now.
testing, testing. Is that good? Hello?
Hello, Devin. All right, sorry, we're switching mics. Can I steal your cord, your mic cord? I'm so sorry. One moment, Devin. Yeah, equipment. Give the adapter. Give the adapter.
No,
Cool.
no.
Go ahead, Devin. We can
talking.
hear you.
You can hear me?
Yeah, we're just
Awesome.
gonna pass the laptop around for the mic.
Got it. Okay. So I just have like a quick update on this item for the town hall. So yesterday, as Trey mentioned, him, myself, Rachel, and a handful of organizers with AW and UAW had a Zoom meeting. And we were just basically talking about if the date for September 16th that we had sort of like pre-assigned as like the date that we were going to have a town hall, like what that town hall would look like, what the content of it would be. And the conversation seemed to steer more on the AWN side. The conversation seemed to be geared more towards, will GPSA take an active public stance towards unionization at the town hall? Whereas Trey was more concerned with just like, can we get people into the same room to talk about what issues they're actually facing? And so what we sort of decided last night was that we're not going to do a full-on unionization specific town hall, but we are going to have the town hall still on September 16th with Dean Crittenden in attendance, relating to just broader issues that GAs are facing and the graduate student population is facing at UNLV. So there's still an opportunity to maybe do a town hall with AWN joint with GPSA and AWN maybe later down the line this semester, perhaps after the election in November, so we can get a clearer picture of like where the politics are going to lie on unionization at the state level. But as of right now, yeah, it's just going to be still September 16th. We will have members of the grad college there, specifically Dean Crittenden. It'll just be sort of like an open forum for GPSA's leadership and grad college leadership to hear directly from students, sort of what issues they are dealing with and how the university could help address it or direct their grievances to a certain location. But yeah, that was pretty much it. It's still a little bit in the planning phase, but if anyone has questions, I can certainly take them, answer them if I can, or bring them back to Trey.
So, am I talking into her? Okay. Rachel, for the record, I have further clarification after speaking with the union after the meeting and after Trey. Essentially, I think that the union did not want it to be a full union event. They felt that they didn't want to take ownership of that event entirely. And so I talked to Trey and we decided that it should be full, like in GPSA form of hearing from all students, including GAs, to which the union is willing to attend and have representatives there, but not running the event. So we would run the event, ask union to come and speak, ask other grad students to come and speak and share their experiences from all perspectives of students. So it's not focused on union efforts, but we do want to invite the union to come and speak, and they seemed amenable to that. So that's where we're at on having a town hall. So
it's just a graduate assistant town hall?
not a GA, no, because not all grad students are GAs.
Or so is it
So it's
targeted to,
Grad students as a whole body.
what should it be?
That's a good question. What should we call it?
But is the focus, sorry, Nancy Messina for the record. I should, okay, Robert's rules are having wait to be called on by the chair. That's how you keep it clean floor discussion. I will wait appropriately because I'm not following Robert's rules at all. Okay, I'm called on by the chair. Okay.
Nodded for the record.
Thank you, Chair Nehemiah. So is the focus of the town hall then to be graduate assistant priorities?
Graduate student priorities,
Okay.
not workers. GAs, not all grad students are GAs, so it's not GA priorities. It's
Oh, I thought
graduate student priorities.
it would still be graduate
including
assistant focus.
GAs. So that's where I wish that Trey was specifically here to clarify, but
Okay.
when we spoke, it was, because like, so for instance, for example, in my department, not everybody was able to get a GA, so they were funded under PTIs, or they were funded under grants, or they were funded under other lines. So like, to be able to hear from all students and their concerns.
Okay,
Yes, and so Trey, so he labeled it as a listening tour of graduate student concerns across the board, not GA focused.
Yes, Messina for the record. So it would be for folks who are not just like the full general student body, but like folks who are actually employed. Like PTIs, GAs,
No,
literally the whole thing.
literally, I
Free,
think
not
the
notes,
idea,
so-
and I don't know if I'm speaking out of turn, is to invite any graduate student that would like to speak on their concerns.
Even if they're not, clearly for the record, even if they're not working anywhere, like they're just students, but they don't have any PT or any line of. Because we have 7,000 students, so
Yeah, that.
that's the thing, so you've.
Right, but 7,000
Yeah,
students
no-
aren't gonna show
Sure.
up and speak, right?
It was, well, I'm saying that sorry, Nias Messina again for the
Yeah.
record. Thank you, changing your mind. The town hall, I think the town hall should have a focus, otherwise it's just. Free for all town halls are great, but I do
Okay.
think that they should, if you're interested in something specifically, it should be marketed with a specific focus, otherwise you're going to get. Everything, and it's going to not be
Yeah.
what y'all are after.
They might for the record, because basically the information I had prior to this time was that it's gonna be some selected few.
Mhm.
Because when Trey reached out to me.
Okay.
speaking-
I'm gonna get another
Because when,
mic, just talk to my laptop.
so when Trey reached out to me to be part of the town hall, he specifically said, he asked if I was a GA, and I said yes. I said, okay. And then he said, they're actually selecting just few GAs and graduate students. So I think it's based on invitation. It's not open to general public or the general graduate students, based on what I know before that. Because there's no way we can accommodate 7,000 students.
Yeah.
Or even 500 graduate
Right.
students. Yeah.
Is it in person?
Yes.
It's in person.
So that's, sorry, go ahead. You can. Okay, so clearly for the record, that's why like my focus, even
Yeah.
if they're not GAs, but any graduate student employee can be framed that way, whether they are funded through grant or PT, whatever you say, other line of anything. If they are student, if they are workers who are graduate student, they can come to this town hall. Can we put that focus?
Okay, so we want to have it be a worker focused event.
That's what I'm not sure. That was the main
It's not
intent
this,
of, right?
this event, right?
Yes.
It's just 8 invited guests.
Can-
Yeah, this is just 18, or is it a different?
Well, I don't know that. I think we need to plan and decide what that is going to be.
So for possible action.
Sorry, again for the record.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. May I know who? Yeah. Hold on. Devin. Okay. Yeah. Actually, who had this thought of having town hall for GS? Is it GPSA initiated or is it from grad college?
Union.
GPSA?
No, it was GPSA initiative.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe, I'm not sure, maybe the reason for GA calling out only GS is that me and Nehemiah and Trey, we were recently part of one meeting where they were talking about increasing number of credits for a GA from 6 to 9. Maybe they want to hear concerns about that because they're gonna, with the same funding that they're going to get from the state government, increasing the credits, they're gonna reduce their GA lines. So I'm not sure if that's a concept. I'm not, yeah.
Devin.
Oh, thank you. Devin Lopez for the record. I can provide a little bit of context for like where the town hall came from.
Why can't we hear again?
Oh.
What? Hold on.
Did it, oh,
I
see if
think
the default
it
speaker changed
default
the
to
mic.
yeah.
Change the mic.
Oh my God, why do you have 100? No. No, you have a lot of speaker options.
digital.
I don't know which one it is. This one.
Try the array.
Speak.
Test.
Oh. Yay, I did it.
Oh, awesome. Devin Lopez for the record. I can provide just a little bit of context about like where the town hall came from. So it was sort of like between the union and GPSA. Trey did originally want to hold a town hall, like just with the broader grad student population to hear what issues they were facing. But sort of at the same time, the union sent the proposed bill that's going to be introduced in the next legislative session in 2027, specifically relating to unionization rights for grad assistants. They sent that bill draft to President Heavey, President Sandoval up in Reno, as well as Chancellor McNair. The institutional president's response was essentially just, that's not something we can deal with. Please send it up to the chancellor's office. And then the chancellor finally responded just a couple of days ago saying that he's encouraging the institutional presidents to actually start meeting with students on this issue and to gather information about like what issues are being faced, but not necessarily meeting about the bill itself. And so, yeah, this meeting was originally like GPSA's idea to get grad students broadly, not just GAs, but just grad students involved in getting feedback to GPSA. But then these things sort of happened at the same time, and then the union wanted to get a little bit more involved. But yeah, I mean, I hear the issue with like narrowing down the scope of the town hall. I'd personally be fine with tailoring it towards like just graduate student workers, so that it would include GAs, PTIs, and then there's a third category, letter of appointment, I think, the LOAs. Like we could just tailor it to that specific group. And then we could also have it be tailored towards like the grad college's newly formed grievance committee, sort of getting students familiar with that process once it's up and running officially, and just making sure that there is transfer of information directly from students to the institution rather than just like students are talking over here and then administration is over there and then they're just never really crossing paths. So I think it's just the broader point was just getting student workers in the room with administrative officials.
Yes.
Okay.
What Devin said very eloquently.
Okay, so we. Oh, sorry, chair. You know, I really can't.
So we don't know.
Okay, so I move to make a motion to go forward with planning this.
I would make it, yes, Christina, correct.
Yes.
So I would make it, so definitely, I think a motion would be a great idea.
Okay.
It would be a motion to give it a name. Description.
Oh.
And I think we might have Trey back in the room.
Oh, perfect.
Is that Trey?
Yeah, that's him.
Oh, yeah. But we can't hear him.
Trey?
Well,
He's out.
was a tease.
Okay. Okay, yeah, you can go ahead.
So I make a motion to name and wash.
My advice would be that this thing needs a name and a description and a target audience.
Okay.
I would recommend those go into the motion.
Okay.
And then also mention the date, because I don't believe it's going to happen.
It is not correct here. On the agenda.
Graduate Workers Town Hall.
Graduate Workers Town Hall. Okay, that works.
Hi, everyone. So sorry.
Hi, you're not driving, right?
Oh no, I'm on a golf cart with Stacy.
He's 100% driving.
Graduate workers.
All right, you want to give them a recap of what we're talking about?
No.
No. I feel like, no, I have to go to class.
Okay, so they're doing a motion, sorry, it needs to be seen for record, they're doing a motion on the town hall and giving it a new name, target audience and date and description. And someone's making a motion to do that.
Okay.
But I need to have wording for the description. Okay, I make a motion to move forward with planning the GPSA event called Graduate Workers Town Hall on September 16th
17th.
at what time? At 5:30 p.m. to be determined room, not 80.
16th or 17th.
Be the Flexitorium. This is all in my motion. The description is a space for graduate workers to come and share their experiences with GPSA and additional admin from UNLV. The target audience is graduate workers at UNLV.
Any second?
I need it moved and then seconded.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Oh, you said so.
You said
Yes, I said so move, so.
it's the second.
Okay.
All in
Well,
favor?
Yeah.
Aye.
Hi.
Trey?
He's not.
Does that work? Me, Maya, you're turning this.
Yeah. We're,
Okay.
we're sharing it together. Yeah. It's a teamwork stuff, right? Yeah. So the motion passes with a
Yes.
vote of 3 to 1. No,
Did-
he did not.
Well, that's an abstention. It's a zero.
It's a zero.
The 3 to 0.
Yeah,
Okay.
because they believe that
Yeah.
wasn't available enough to-
Oh, okay.
Okay,
Okay.
okay.
All right. So the motion passes with a vote of 3 to 0. Thank you. So we'll move to the next item on the agenda, announcements. The president is absent, so was excused. No announcements at the moment. This item is public comments. So we have come to the second public comment for the meeting. This item, public comment is open to 3 minutes per speaker.
Hi, everyone. I'm so sorry.
Do you have a public comment?
No, I don't, but thank you all.
Seeing none, hearing none, we close the item public comment. Okay. So this meeting is adjourned at exactly 2:05 p.m. Thank you.
Excellent work. all.
Finally.
This
Wow.
meeting's adjourned. Thank you,
Yeah.
Trey.
1 hour meeting became
Yes.
2 hours, 5 minutes.
So Trey, the town hall got renamed to Graduate Workers Town Hall, and it's going to be inclusive of graduate assistants, PTIs, LOAs,
Graduate student workers, not GAs, all workers.
student employees. Are they included in that?
Yeah, might as well be.
Okay.
You guys also talked that grad college is partnering with us on this now, right?
Oh, no, did not know that, but yes, thank you for that information. Did you put it?
What? Okay, so
Grad
conversation focused on
college
graduate,
Is
student
assisting in the
workers.
event. Oh,
graduate student workers,
great.
PTIs, GAs, LOAs, student employees.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
I spoke to the union and the union said that they will pass on and forward an email to people if they want to attend.
Conversation focused on grad.
Yeah, I mean, I think we'll just handle all the marketing on this end. We'll do something
Perfect.
else with them in the future, pending after the elections. But this will be a joint GPSA grad college town hall because
Excellent.
the dean signed off and gave me a thumbs up to wanting to partner on an event.
Perfect.
Trey, could you clarify if it was the 16th or the 17th?
Yes, sorry, let me open my Slack account.
Yeah, because my agenda said 17.
Yeah, so the 17th was the plan when I made the agenda, but then that date didn't work for anybody. So it is the 16th from we have space starting at 5, but the event goes 5:30 to 6:30
Same.
in AEB Flexitorium.
Okay, I apologize. I have to shut you all off because I have to go to class.
Okay.
Bye all.
Goodbye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, cheers.